Yo, welcome to another edition of the Geeky Bros Podcast. I'm your boy Tactix.
Yo, it's just Darcy here.
This is Big Geek Umar. How y'all doing today?
Doing all right. He's like waiting for you.
Oh, man.
Rushed
Not
in
bad,
like American
not
Pie.
bad. Not bad. We
I
almost
just
had
want
it.
to get it right again.
All right. So what's on the agenda for today, Umar?
Oh, well, we got a big set of geeky news that came out recently. So first things first, some debatably good news or like questionable news. Nonetheless, Michael Keaton, our most beloved, our classic, our, well, in some cases, our original Batman, he is rumored, as I said last podcast, there are a lot of rumors out in the geeky world. So he is rumored that he's going to be getting another Batman solo film after the Flashpoint movie that's coming out with him in it. There are no, no details as of yet. But what people are wondering, like, if it's a Batman only, or if this is a Batman, the Batman Beyond. So at present, I'm kind of, look at that. Me personally, I want it to be a Batman Beyond. I don't want to be a Batman solo film. We have enough of that. Let's set up the Batman Beyond. But like, I want to know what you guys think. So Darcy, let's start with you. What do you think, man?
I'm with you 110%. Ooh, look at that photo right there. Ooh, look at that.
Ooh.
I'm all about it being a Batman Beyond. See, the thing is like, I'm trying to think of like comic stuff that I know, because I don't know a lot, but stuff that you could pull from, like in the Old Man Batman. And I'm sure there's plenty Old Man Batman stuff I'm not familiar with, but the two most popular things I would think of, the other one is already been kind of done with Ben Affleck. All of the stuff from the Dark Knight, was it Returns? Where that animated movie, like there's a lot of symmetry and visuals that Zack Snyder already took. And so you would kind of correlate that character already, and that'd be odd. So I think that, you got to go with like a Batman Beyond. If it is a solo film of him first, I actually like that from the perspective of setting up for Batman Beyond and kind of showing this Batman and why he needs to be, take the back seat and put Batman Beyond, a younger person to take over the reins. And I don't know how much you'd want to like adjust the storyline in terms of like how much you would want to in that movie seed in the Batman Beyond character, whether it's you don't introduce him to another film or you introduce him at the end of the film. But I like it. I like the idea of prepping for that. If it's just a movie about him by himself, you have to come up with a good story, because it's like, all right, all this time has passed and we're just going to show an old version of him, and where is that lead, right? Because I don't think you can just take that old Batman's like, we're just gonna run it until he's done, and then he's out, right? Like, you have to be setting it up for something, because he's a little bit older. I mean, you can maybe do one or two films, but you gotta get to Batman Beyond. You gotta get there. So I'm all about Batman Beyond. That's really the only way I want to see this go.
T?
Yo, I'm right there with you, Darce. Honestly, if this is actually true, if this actually comes to fruition, this is going to be an emotional moment for me, because I never thought, I never would have thought I'd see the day where this would even be on the table in the conversation of Michael Keaton returning. I mean, just the fact that he's returning back, period, in the Flash movie is bananas on its own. But then to hear there being talks of a Batman Beyond film, like, we've gotten to that point, and I don't even know who to thank. Do we thank Endgame? Do we thank, the whole Marvel series for like letting this happen and like putting superhero movies on the map the way that they have, to the point where like now you have like high level directors talking shit about the superhero genre, saying that it ain't shit. And there was a article that I was reading where I forget who the director was, but he was basically saying that all these superhero films are just cookie cutters. It's just like a copy and paste type of thing, with no real substance to it or whatever. And I think he attributed it to something similar of like like we're all zombies basically or whatever. And I thoroughly disagree with that. I think yes, superhero movies are their own genre, but it's no different than like the horror genre or the rom-com genre. They all have they're all formulaic in their own way, but this is why we go and we see multiple films within those genres. But anyway, not to get too off topic there, but I love this. I love this idea. I love the fact that they're talking about a Batman Beyond movie, and I agree with Darcy. I would like for Michael Keaton to pass on the reins to someone else and introduce Terry McGinnis into the storyline. Maybe if they want to do like half the movie where Michael Keaton starts off as Batman, similar to how they did it in the TV series, where he gets into that scenario where he resorts to almost using a gun, and then he's so ashamed by that fact that he hangs up the mantle, and then it's not till years later that he ends up meeting Terry McGinnis, and then Terry McGinnis steals his suit. If you want to take it down that road, I'm all for that. And I think this would be a great introduction. I mean, it's a perfect time. Like Michael Keaton is the perfect age for this. Maybe if they could probably age him up a little bit more, just because he still looks relatively young.
Just give him a cane.
Yeah. I mean, there were that, like, because he's not like, he's old, but he doesn't look like Bruce Wayne from Batman Beyond old yet. He doesn't look.
Yeah,
he's not
frail. He doesn't look frail.
Yeah, like he still looks like he's got some years on him. You know what I mean? Like Bruce Wayne from like the Batman Beyond series. Like that dude looked like any day now he's gonna turn to dust. Like you know what I mean? So yeah. But I mean that's not gonna be hard. I mean look what they did with Penguin in this new Batman series. Like he's almost unrecognizable. Like we don't. I didn't even know that was Colin Farrell until I saw the credits. So. Yeah, I'm excited for this. I hope that this is not just rumor and they're actually going through with this and it ends up being a thing. Because man, like me, I wasn't a big fan of Batman Beyond in the beginning, and someone convinced me to give it a chance, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll check it out. And it's up there as one of my top favorite animated cartoons. So yeah, man, I'm hyped for this, yo. I'm so hyped.
All right, so going back to like what I'm thinking. So first of all, I want to go back to what you said, Tactix, about like people trashing on Marvel. Originally, I think that was Steven Soderbergh who was kind of saying what you were saying. But it's interesting that you should say that because this past week, Andy Serkis and Denis Villeneuve, who is doing the Dune movie, they didn't disparage Marvel movies. They were more kind of saying that there's limitations. Like Denis Villeneuve was basically saying that like they have a few directors that sprinkle a little bit of their personalities in the movies, but mostly these are all by the numbers, and it's because Marvel doesn't want to stray too far away from their formula. But at the same time, he was praising some of the choices that were being made recently. Like, for example, for the Eternals, he's all about the Eternals. He's like, yo, they got the person who did Rider, and they're doing a movie about all these like different like ethnicities and stuff like that. So he's basically calling out the limitations of Marvel, which we all know Marvel has those limitations. We know they're formulaic. We know that they have issues with their like dynamic characters, and we know that they force big budget endings when they don't need to be. But so like that's just going back to what you were saying. Finally, about the Michael Keaton news. For me, if they're going to do a Michael Keaton solo film, you can have a solo film where it's like focused on him. Like I want the beginning portion of Batman Beyond where he like in the beginning he actually decides to like the first like 15 minutes of the movie he decides that he picks up a gun and he's like, I can't do this again and never again. And then or like first 20 minutes of the movie, whatever, the first 15 minutes that way. And then for the rest of the movie, it kind of plays out the way almost like in the animated movie of The Dark Knight Returns Part 1, where they show him as Bruce Wayne and him just numbing himself, like drinking and like just being like a senior citizen, not like a needing to move into a retirement home citizen, but like someone who just is like enjoying his billions and actually hating every second of it. He's still in charge of Wayne Enterprises. He's like dealing with like people trying to take over his company, all that sort of stuff. And then near the end, like they also do like small tidbits of another character. And then in the third act, it's basically the second half of of Batman, the first episode, where like Terry just shows up to his house with all these like jokers. He does what he can to protect them, and he realizes, okay, you know what? I swore I would never go back out there. Why don't I let this kid do it? So, like, that's how I could
Which
see
is just
solo
bad
film movie.
parenting. That shit is just bad parenting, guy. Like, what the fuck's wrong with Bruce Wayne, yo? He's got some serious problems. I'm just saying.
Yo, Batman Bruce Wayne is not known for parenting skills. Okay, I'm just
clearly not,
no,
yo. How many Robins did he get killed?
bro.
One, technically
Yo.
two. Technically two. Well,
Yo.
she wasn't
A
really a
technicality?
Robin, and she didn't die. She got beaten close to death.
Yo,
Still counts, bro. It still counts. It was under Batman's watch, so it still counts. It still counts.
Yo,
Poor
the
Stephen
red tape around the Bruce Wayne orphanage is just something else. The best lawyers billions can buy to make sure that these children are mine to put out on the street and fight crime.
Oh man! All right.
No one's claiming them anyway, so
Apparently,
Well, technically, Tim had his own family, but they all got killed off. Anyway. So yeah.
Let's just not go down there.
Anyway, so nonetheless, like I want this to be a solo film that leads into Batman Beyond at the end of the movie. That's the only way I can accept it. Otherwise, they're wasting precious time and resources.
Yeah,
So
I kind of feel the same.
Oh, so you want a solo Batman film with Michael Keaton that leads up to Batman Beyond?
In the same movie, yes.
Oh, in the same. Okay, yes. Oh, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's like this is an extended first episode of Batman Beyond. Essentially, what we're saying,
Right?
With like a middle part that like is filled in with the Dark Knight Returns, also.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I'd be interested, but not a first desire for them to do, like, if they wanted to do a full Michael Keaton film that was that only like put hints of that character, and the second film did that. But I think I agree with you. It's mostly going to waste time. But WB does stupid shit, so I'm just
yes, they do.
I'm just anticipating it just being a straight Michael Keaton film that doesn't actually do anything for Batman Beyond, and we're out here like, for real. I mean, you just gonna slide them into Titans when you're done, like.
Oh,
please
Lord,
no!
Please Lord, help me if they do that.
You know what though? Like, it would make the show a hell of a lot better.
Will it though?
I don't think it could save that show, man.
So obviously none of us have watched it since the first episode this season, and Umar probably since never. But the thing that I'm like, I had this thought in my head. I was probably the first time we were talking about this, or like the last episode we talked about it, whatever. Is that like, are they gonna try to do some Elseworld, whatever? This isn't real Bruce Wayne, and I'm like, there is absolutely, if like at the end of the second season when they cast this guy, we'd seen him, and we're all like, nah, this guy's bullshit. It ain't gonna work. And like, how would you replace that character? And I'm like, in my mind, I was running through these scenarios, like, this Elseworld stuff, and I'm like, the only way you could have actually fixed that scenario is just recast him and said nothing about it. Like, there is no way you could write him out like that Bruce Wayne and write in a proper Bruce Wayne, only because he'd interacted with Dick, and because they'd interacted, he didn't be like, you're not the real Bruce Wayne. That's the only, like, if those two had never interacted, maybe you could have like found a way to write him out, like if they hadn't interacted in the show. So when he actually came across him, you're like, wait, this isn't the guy, right? But yeah, that show is stupid. I'm still mad. Okay, that's all it is. I'm just mad. I was thinking about it earlier today and I was pissed off.
All right, so moving on then to our next topic is we have some controversy. So everyone, at least recently, is very aware of the Shang-Chi movie. We did a reaction video of that on the weekend. And also, people have definitely watched Kim's Convenience. So we are aware of the actor Simu Liu. And he has been very vocal on social media lately, and in a lot of very endearing, very funny ways. However, today has brought some controversy in the fact that it looks like the internet is attempting to cancel Simu Liu. And apparently he had some old tweets that were, well, let's just say they didn't age well. Now, I personally haven't read the tweets because, like, I just was getting ready for a few other things. But I'm aware that they didn't come across very well. But Darcy, did you read them?
Yeah, so I've read through this piece. This here's a snippet from an old Reddit thing that he commented on, and to try to paraphrase it, basically, I don't know what the context of how the conversation started, right? But somehow people were talking about pedophilia in some Reddit thing, and basically the way that this kind of goes is that he's saying that he starts off like I'm a Canadian actor and I once played a role as a pedophile. So in doing that role, I did a lot of research. I'm saying be careful here. He said like, so someone go take this the wrong way. You know how the internet is. Cancel motherfucker. Nobody knows. But so he said he did a lot of research into this, and he was very explicit to say like in the like academic way, not in the method acting kind of way. Right. You've got to say these things. And so that basically he is trying to make a point from a perspective in the way he's articulating of trying to be empathetic to the idea that in Western society, or pretty much the entire world, other than I think he calls out Germany, that that the way therapy and the way people try to go about, other than like obviously imprisonment for acts that should never have happened, there's nothing that's appropriate for how these people get therapy and rehabilitation. It's like he compares it to how historically we used to do this similar things to homosexuality. There's like words in here I'm trying to find that he specifically said that I can't remember. I can't remember what he said, but basically like they're not being treated properly from like a therapeutic perspective. So yeah, I'm trying to paraphrase all this stuff, and there's a lot here.
Well, it's a very like inherently both homosexuality and pedophilia, they are both sensitive and complicated issues. Like pedophilia can be seen as a psychological issue, but people used to say that about homosexuality. People used to say that about trans. And so what is considered a psychological perspective that needs correcting. Now, granted, pedophilia is harmful versus like homosexuality is like between two consenting adults, it's completely fine. And same with trans. Like if it makes you feel better about yourself and makes you feel like you're actually actualizing who you are, that's also fine. But pedophilia, it's a very sensitive topic. So like I think he's trying to say, from what I could read from the post that Tactix posted up, he was trying to say, don't think about it black and white. Like it's not a black and white issue. Like yes, we should protect children, and yes, we shouldn't, like, child pornography is. He's basically just trying not to make it a black or white statement, is what I'm getting. But then again, like I'm just tertiary reading right now.
Yeah, and there was another picture that or another part to this that I forgot to include to pass over Tactix. But yeah, that it's a very sensitive topic, and I could see how it can easily be wildly misconstrued in terms of like people assuming that is a form of support on his behalf of what that spectrum of a disorder is. But I think the point he's trying to say is that, like, given that this is a disorder and the way that there is no means, like another part he had said, like, there's nowhere for these people to turn in terms of therapy. So it's like if you were somebody and you realized you're growing up and you had an attraction to individuals you weren't supposed to have an attraction to. Society has deemed this as to be something that is wrong. And you're like, what do I do with this? He's basically saying like, well, there's nowhere for them to turn, which means that like people are gonna end up making decisions and not know how to correct that if they wanted to correct that. So it's interesting, but based on this conversation, what he's having, my question is, do you feel that he should be canceled for something like this?
Is this the only thing? Like, is this the only thing that people are finding? Because I thought it was a few tweets.
Yeah, sorry. There's actually a couple other things, but the other thing he had posted was an old tweet about saying he's all for equality, but when he plays on a volleyball team with a female, that he finds it to be. I'm trying to remember the wording here. I'm trying to pull up the old picture here. But let's see here. I'm all about gender equality. However, girls are just not as good as boys at sports. And whenever I play volleyball with a girl on the team, I was always frustrated. Sometimes I say things. Back me up, fellas. It's just different. That was a tweet, not me.
Okay, no, yeah, that's not great, but that's also like, how old is this tweet? I'm assuming a few years, or please God,
7.
7 years.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what
again,
it shows in the picture.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's also not like, it's not terrible. It's not even, it's like not entirely bad. But then again, we're a bunch of guys saying this, so like, I don't know how much we can be.
I honestly feel like it's rude.
It's rude, yeah, 100%. It's rude,
it
and it really downplays a lot of hard work from women in sports. But like, I mean, maybe it's the fact that we're just used to hearing such horrible things that this is kind of like, you want to cancel them over this?
Yeah, compared to our old stretchy dude back at WB.
Like, how about you, T? Like, sorry, we've been talking. What are you thinking about all of this?
Well, first of all, I'm glad I deleted my Twitter account, because damn, they're getting you for everything nowadays. So, I want to tread carefully, because I know eventually when we start to blow up, I don't want this to come back and bite me in the ass. Be like, yo, remember September 20, whatever, or 17th, when you said this and this and you agreed with Simu? What's that about, yo? We're canceling you. But I kind of understand where he's coming from, and you guys kind of addressed it too. Like, Umar, you were saying that situations like pedophilia it's a very complicated issue, right? There's a lot of psychological issues at play, and it's not exactly black and white. You know what I mean? Yes, it's wrong, and we have to protect the children. I'm all for that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I'm not trying to sympathize with, again, trying to tread carefully. I'm not trying to sympathize with, the act of pedophilia or pedophiles in that regard. And, obviously I don't understand it from a parental perspective, because I don't have kids of my own. So if I was on the other side, I'd probably feel a lot differently about it, because of the fact that there's a lot of emotion involved. But when you think about it logically, yes, there is a lot of psychological issues at play here. And it is kind of similar to that of homosexuality in the fact that it's a preference, right? And, I think we're at a place right now in society where we can say that obviously one being homosexuality is a little more accepting, vastly more accepting than pedophilia is, right? But Darcy, you said something in regards to society not deeming certain things as socially acceptable, right? And
yeah, and over time, people have deemed things differently. People used to view homosexuality as horrible. They had horrible views on it. World has changed, and like to your point about the preference. So I think that one of the biggest differences here is like, for instance, homosexuality is a preference where two people have decided that they love each other, and causes no harm other than normal relationship type things that people have between each other. Whereas in something towards a child is harmful, right? And that's the part where
yeah. I get that. I get that. I'm not justifying that, but that was something that was put in play by society, because before that was even a rule, that, like, I'm sure pedophilia was just an everyday thing at some point in time. Well, and like no one really batted an eye or whatever about it. And again, I'm not justifying it. They're at
From
some point they're like, you know what? And to your point, Darcy, they probably came to a point where it's like, well, this child can't consent to this kind of act, and therefore there's something morally and ethically wrong with this situation. So we need to put a rule in play to protect the children, and that I understand. I get that, and I'm not justifying it or whatever. I think what
just to
he's trying to
interject for
do
one
is,
sec.
yeah.
Sorry, just to interject for 1 second. Like historically speaking, for both these topics,
Mm-hmm.
homosexuality, if you look at ancient Rome, no one gave a shit whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When it came to pedophilia, like people, like they were marrying kids off. Hell, even now in
Yeah.
this part of the world, people are marrying kids off. So like,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm seeing what you're saying, and like you're right. Like historically speaking, there have been multiple changes on these specific topics. Sorry, go
Right.
back to your point.
Yeah, so I get what he's saying in terms of the comparison, and I lost my train of thought. So
My bad.
with no, it's all good. Basically what I'm saying is that again, like one now with homosexuality is a little bit more accepting than obviously than pedophilia, but there's still, I mean, whether you want to chop it up to like a psychological issue, or there's a chemical imbalance in the brain that causes them to have these kind of feelings or emotions towards a minor. And it's like I haven't done the research extensively or at all really in comparison to him, who's done the role, who's portrayed a person who's a pedophilia, so he'll know more than anybody really, right? But in that regard, it's like, do we know if there's any kind of treatment? Do people, like, does society even give a fuck about correcting the issue, or are you just automatically ostracized for this supposedly chemical or psychological imbalance in the brain, where you're like, you're fucking disgusting for liking a minor, so no help for you, you're just gonna get ostracized from society, just like that. And it's kind of like, we're not trying to sympathize with the person, but at the same time we're trying to correct the issue so we can kind of alleviate the problem, or for lack of a better word, to actually help
Protect
these
the children.
people who,
Yeah, I think
and to protect the children. Yeah. Was that?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Sorry. I think I was cutting in and out. I
Mhm.
think for what it is that right now there is very, very limited resources for people who are attracted to young children,
Mhm.
and also since it is heavily vilified, like I'm fairly certain there are some people who are attracted to children that don't want to be
Mhm.
and have no recourse. And I think that may be
Yeah.
what he is trying to allude to with this one, with the sports one, that I see is more as like an insensitive male speaking and like using his platform irresponsibly.
Mhm.
Was that a recent tweet, or did he
7
did he
years
write
ago.
that 7 year? Yeah, okay. So this is another thing that I dislike about cancel culture. It's like they dig up dirt on you from like 7 years ago, and
10 years
then
ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's like they go way back into your past. Like, we've all said shit either in private or in public that wasn't the smartest thing to say at the time, but it was
Or
like
even the most
verbal
woke
diary.
thing to say.
Yeah, and it's just like things are changing now. Like, certain things are not as acceptable as they were back then. Not to say that it was acceptable back then, but there's a level of sensitivity that has kind of been looming over society for quite a few years now, and now it's coming out into the open, and now it's just like there's like everybody has their finger on the trigger, like waiting to cancel the next like popular person or the next it person, or just trying to like tear a person down. And this is what I don't like about cancel culture, because it's like, why do we have to cancel someone when we can offer them a chance of redemption? It's like an apology isn't enough, or like understanding that, we are all human, we're all flawed, we all make mistakes, and we all say stupid shit from time to time. Whether we wholeheartedly believe what we say or not, like, you can't condemn a person and not give them the opportunity to prove that they're different than who they were 10, 15 years ago. I'm way different. I go back and watch some of my old YouTube videos, and I'm like, now, because of this cancel culture shit, I'm like, yo, I should probably private a lot of this stuff, because like I've said some dumbass stuff that I don't resonate with or believe in now today, but it like if you don't even give me an opportunity or a chance to, you don't even give the opportunity to get to know me and realize that I'm not the same person and I've evolved, my way of thinking has changed, my perspective on things have changed, then it's like the cancel culture is actually doing a disservice and it's hurting society, not making it better.
I do find it rather interesting that with the massive, I mean massive success of Shang-Chi and its title character, cancel culture can come across from, it's not like there's a woke perspective on the internet that like just finds someone who's guilty. Cancel culture comes from people. And I do find it rather interesting that right when one of the only Asian-led films is doing really well, and their title character is actually very heavily like promoting and merchandise and like trying to like get this movie out and also talk about how big it is, that's when this cancel culture attempt from very likely some very racist people. And again, if this tweet and this Reddit post is like the worst that he said, this is desperately trying to like besmirch someone or cancel them over significantly milder things compared to what other people have done.
Yeah,
Course,
like
yeah.
I gotta say, like the Reddit piece here, it's him making a statement on the lack of mental health initiatives and support around this issue and how to better protect the children in society and help individuals on their path in life who have these preferences. And then you have that light sexist tweet that is inappropriate, but doesn't really show somebody who's has a hate for women, just has a stupid opinion from 6 years ago when I was just doing the math, he would have been 25. Which, by the way, he's younger than all of us. That hurt me. Go back. Right?
Yeah,
But like,
I would say that 25, I definitely said some stupid stuff too,
oh,
or ignorant things.
100%, man.
especially considering a different time, right? You know, like
Yeah.
if you're gonna go back far enough on people and find them when they're 15 years old saying stupid things, trying to impress their friends because they think it's gonna make them cool and not something they believe in, maybe not even words they fully actually understand the definition of and the context and the concepts of things. They're just saying them because they heard them and oh, that makes me sound cool. And then that stuff gets pulled out 15 years later, and well, you're a horrible person. It's like, I don't even know I said that because I was a kid and I was just, I guess, trying to be cool. I don't know.
Yeah, just mouth them off.
Yeah, again, not a fan of cancel culture. Don't think this man needs to be canceled over these things. I think that the man would have grown from all of these things, and his response to all of this was something to the fact that like he believes that we should live our lives positively, and if you look back far enough in his past, you're sure you'll find a point in time where he was falling to the side of anger and things that are lesser than being positive. So it sounds like he's accepting the fact that like, yeah, I wasn't perfect when I was younger.
Yeah.
What are you expecting? So
Man, to all the celebrities out there, a word of advice: delete your fucking Twitter. Just delete it. Stop using that shit, man. Have you guys not learned anything? Like, Twitter is going to get you in trouble.
Or just have someone like literally hire someone to go through your social media and delete.
Delete it. Yo, Twitter is poison, bro. Just delete it. It does no one any good. Didn't do Trump any good. I mean, not that Twitter was anything like that destroyed him, or he was going to do that all on his own. But Twitter,
let's just say that Twitter was not helping him burn down.
No. Twitter ironically helped him a lot with his base. Okay, I mean, still to this day, I cannot believe the very first time he comes down that escalator, he gets on that podium. I'm like, this is going to be interesting. I had no understanding of what was going to happen. And then he calls Mexicans horrible things. I'm like, I literally said out loud, this is going to go nowhere. I've never thought I'd be so freaking wrong in my life about something so obviously wrong. Anyways, I think it's
all wrong about that one.
Yeah.
Still hurts.
All right, moving on. Next topic is some more Batman related news, or I should say the Batman. It seems like, and Tactix, you were talking about this earlier, how Colin Farrell is unrecognizable as the Penguin. Well, apparently he did such a good job on set that they now are going to give him a spin-off series on HBO Max. I'm not a huge fan of this. Well,
whoa, that's a heavy photo.
Whoa.
He looks a little more like Colin Farrell in that photo, though. But
I can't see
not
him
a
actually
ton.
in that one.
I can see it a little bit in the eyes, but it's not like significantly better.
So,
like, I mean, as in seeing who he really is.
Yeah, T. Let's start with you. What do you think about this potential spinoff?
Yo, you already know what I'm gonna say. You know what I'm gonna say.
You don't care.
I don't care. I don't care. No one asked for this. Nobody asked for this. Why are we getting this? I don't give a shit about Penguin. This is my problem with the movie industry and giving us bullshit like that. I'm sorry, but I wasn't a big fan of the Joker. I didn't think that we needed a standalone Joker movie, and much like that, I don't think we need a standalone Penguin. Like, why? It's basically Gotham the TV series in movie form. Like, why do I don't care about the villains unless there's the hero involved in it. I don't want to see an origin story, just an origin story of these villains. I don't care. I don't want to see this shit. I don't care who's Matt Reeves could be directing this shit. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't want it. It's like when somebody shows up at your house and delivers free pizza and you're like, sick, yo, free pizza? What up with it? You open the box and there's fucking anchovies on it. I don't want it. I don't care if it's a free pizza. I don't want it.
Bro, I'm already afraid if someone's delivering free pizzas to my house because I'm like, yo, who's gonna kill me? I thought that's where you were gonna go with this, and you're like anchovies. Right. I'm like, I get the TMNT reference here, but bro, that's not what I'm worried about.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't care.
Sorry. My bad.
No, I'm done, bro. I don't care. I'm done.
So I have two comments right out the gate. One, for someone who doesn't care, you were very passionate about not caring.
100%.
There was so much caring in the not caring. It was like, are you for real? Like, you know, you felt like when a girl's like, no, I'm fine. You're like, are you? But the like in general, I don't care, but my problem with not caring is also I don't know what it's based off of. And I don't mean like I don't know what his origin is. That's not what I'm referring to. I mean, we haven't seen the Batman, so I don't know if there's something in here that's going to make us go, whoa, I can't wait for that series, right? But it's not likely, but I don't know. And I've been so up and down about this whole the world making me feel like Patty Pattinson's going to screw everything up. But at the same time, now I'm hearing stuff like, oh, Robert Pattinson might be producing the next film and he's signing on for this. And I'm like, have I just been, letting the rumor mill lead me astray and letting me feel some kind of way? Is this like high school all over again where I heard this person said this thing and that thing, but the other thing, but then when I actually talk to them, they're like, no, I was visiting my aunt. I don't know what you're talking about. That never happened, right? Like, I don't know how like what to base this off of. I will say though, DC has not had a good run with TV shows in general. Like, the best we got is early seasons of The Flash and Arrow. So everything else has been kind of what?
Superman and Lois.
Oh yeah, true.
But it's how do you measure success? Because technically speaking, the fact that they have so many TV series compared to Marvel, they're doing something right. But
how I measure success is you don't fuck up a good story and character. That's how I measure the goddamn success, okay? I don't give a crap about you making tons of money if I'm not even watching it, okay? Like, no. Like, I want to actually be on the edge of my seat. If this is going to be an HBO show, this shit better be good, okay? This shit better be good, and it better not be just like, 8 slogging episodes of the Penguin just by himself living stupid, disgusting lifestyle, because that's what he is. I don't know.
All right, so we got some comments. So Mac Ram is saying, okay, but what if it was Danny DeVito as Penguin again for a spinoff? That would actually make me intrigued enough to watch. LOL. And then Ron R is saying DC is not really having a good time lately in general. She's not wrong. Danny DeVito.
Ron's on it there. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Danny
that's what I'm saying.
DeVito. That would be.
I still wouldn't care. I mean, didn't they try to do a Pennyworth spin, like a TV show of Alfred?
They did do. I think it's like 2 seasons out. I only saw the first.
Why are they giving us everything else but what we actually want?
Because when they do, they do give us Batman, look what they give us. Titans.
That's not No, that's not Batman. That's what I'm
saying.
I am not willing to accept that motherfucker is Batman. To me, he's Alfred.
You know what's funny?
He got amnesia. And then he woke up and he was like, "Do I live here? Like legitly? Like, oh, okay, I guess I'm Batman now." That's what happened.
Do you remember that episode in the animated series when like Bruce takes Barbara into the Batcave when he reveals to her he's Batman, and then Alfred shows up. He's like, "Oh, hello, sir." It's like, "Oh, Miss Gordon." Yes, I am Batman. And Bruce is like, yo, Alfred, it's okay, man. It's okay. I'm like, that's what you're describing right now, man.
Yeah, he committed to it.
If they do that, I might circle back to the TV series. But other than that, that's not Batman to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh my god. They're gonna like end up trying to like kill off all season 3 and everything Batman. They're just gonna be like, yeah, so you know that star chick, yeah, so she had a radiation that was coming off her, polluted everyone's mind. Dick forgot who Batman actually was, and Alfred over here just like committed, like he's not right,
And then Danny DeVito comes in and everyone's like, the Penguin's back, and everyone's like, what?
Yeah, no, I would not be interested to see Danny DeVito Penguin at this point. Years ago, I would have been interested.
I honestly, like, if they did like, hold on, if they did like Colin Farrell, and then like he goes to like the future and it's Danny DeVito as the Penguin, that would be interesting. Like I would be like,
okay, so you go to the future and get an old version.
if they do the Batman Beyond series. And they bring back Danny DeVito as Penguin in that, I'm all for that. I am all for that. Actually, wait, they can't because he's dead. He died.
No,
he got killed.
But like, I'm assuming, he got killed.
Yeah,
but that would be awesome.
Weirder shit has happened. I mean, yeah, he was barfing up a lot of blood, but I mean,
maybe he just passed out.
Yeah.
Well, wait, no, they put him underwater at the end.
Yeah, but he's a penguin. I don't know. The anatomy of a penguin. Can they breathe underwater? I mean, he's got penguin blood. He's cold-blooded.
He's got penguin powers.
Yeah, man.
Go, penguin powers.
There's some penguin DNA in him somewhere.
The one bird that can't fly, but he doesn't drown. Okay, if he can't fly, don't drown. Oh man!
All right, so moving on. Our next topic is we're going to be talking about the Hawkeye. MCU new Disney Plus TV series Hawkeye dropped its first trailer this past week, and I won't jump ahead and just say I was actually surprised because like when I heard about this series, I was like, nah, this looks stupid. Seeing the trailer, I'm just like, okay, that actually looks like fun. Well played. So I want to see what you guys think. So T, let's start with you. What did you think of the Hawkeye trailer?
I'm not feeling it, man. Okay, really? So I say that with a small caveat. I'm sure this show is going to be good. For the most part, I've enjoyed some of the Marvel TV series, but the trailer kind of just made Arrow look like a rated R TV series. To be honest, like, and I was expecting more. I was expecting more. Like, and after what we got with Ronin in was it Endgame?
Yeah,
where we see Ronin for the first time, like that whole scene where he's taking down the Japanese mafia, and yeah, just the badassery in that. I was hoping that we would get a little bit more of that. Like, obviously, he's got his family back. You know what I mean? So he's a little bit lighter. So he's not as angry. He's got nothing to really fight about it and stuff. But I wanted to at least see some like more action from this guy, because this guy is like, he's like the low level tier of the Avengers. Like, Black Widow just came out with her movie. She killed it. You know what I mean? Like, she definitely needed a win, and she got it. I feel not in real life, because the whole ScarJo situation, but at least with Black Widow, that did well. Hawkeye is the next one that is like no superpowers. Just some motherfucker who shoots arrows. After his arrows are gone, it's like, okay, well, what you got next, bro? And so I was hoping that there would be a little bit more fighting involved, or like some more like heavy duty action scenes, and I just didn't get that. And this trailer kind of I know they're going with the whole Christmas angle and shit like that, but it reminded me of like Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, for some reason I kept getting that vibe, and I'm like, I feel like this is like a Jingles All the Way part 2 pitch that failed, and they're just like, how can we like spin this into like the Marvel series somehow? Oh, we'll just give it to Hawkeye. No one gives a fuck about him. And that's what happened. And I got the Jingle All the Way, like Jingle All the Way vibes. I'm like, this is off to me. So yeah, man, I don't know. I wasn't really feeling it.
Okay, before we go to Darcy, I gotta ask how you felt about Loki and WandaVision when you saw the trailers for it. Is this on the same on par with that, or less?
That's a good question. So with WandaVision, it looked really bizarre. I didn't know what to think of it, and because they didn't give us any action, they just kind of went with the element of old school sitcom type of vibes. It had me intrigued, because I was like, okay, like, where are they going with this? This is different. I'm not used to this, so it had my interest, and then it shit the bed at the end. The Loki didn't really grip me in regards to the trailer, and I was with it for some of the episodes, but overall, like, Loki was kind of like, it was all right. This, I was just kind of like, man, I don't know, man. I wasn't. It didn't excite me. I'm like,
so this is the worst trailer for you.
Yeah, I guess so, man. I guess so. But okay. But again, I say that with a small caveat. I'm sure it's going to be great, because I see the potential there, and I just hope that. I mean, they should have gave us a better trailer, 100%. I think they relied too heavily on the Christmas angle. I get it. It's going to take place. It's going to be released around Christmas time. They want to highlight that fact as much as possible. I feel like that was not the best way to go with it. Give us more action. Give us what we're anticipating and expecting from a Marvel property like this. But especially with Hawkeye, like, Hawkeye got like no play really until like Endgame. And then you go from Endgame. What are you gonna say, Umar? What was he in? What was he in? What did he do?
No, what I was gonna say. He wasn't even in Infinity War. Like
exactly. Exactly. This poor dude has not gotten a break. The first Avengers, they turned him into a villain for majority of the movie, and then he fucking ran out of arrows at some point, and then was useless. And then he got styled on in the second Avengers movie by Quicksilver.
quick time, the movie player in Apple.
But yeah, he got styled on by Quicksilver. So like, where else within the copious amount of Marvel movies that we've gotten has he had a highlighted moment other than in Endgame? Go ahead, I'll wait. Still waiting. I guess we're switching over to Darcy.
I'm switching over to Darcy because you led a nice little transition into what I was gonna say. So I feel like this trailer gave us his most iconic moment that we've seen in stuff, and that's his joke in Age of Ultron when he's like, like I'm out here with arrows. It doesn't make any sense, right? That's the tone that I felt like we got, and I wanted the Ronin tone. But I was like, there was a Ronin moment in this, and I was like, and then it just went really like soft, and I was like, yo, like it feels too much like the joke version of that moment with this character. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like this show is going to be. Oh man, that scene was sick. That scene was sick. And then that episode was a little bit light. Let's wait. Oh, that episode was sick. That one part of that episode was sick. Like, I feel like it's gonna be the latter couple episodes of what's it? Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where we're like it got drawn out a little bit, and some of the fights were that good, but then some of the stuff was cool. Whereas it was way better in the beginning of the show, right? I feel like we're gonna get the latter half, and that's the trailer they promoted to me. It's like, yeah, you know the part of Falcon Winter Soldier that was like, all right, yeah, that's this show right here. Get ready for 8 episodes.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not expecting it to be like I guess you could say my expectations were different. I expected this to be bullshit, and then I saw the trailer. I'm like,
let's come up.
Sorry.
I said, so it's come up for you.
Yeah, it has. It did a bounce up. So I'm like, I guess I can't hate it too much. Like there's potential. But again, it's like I'm not saying it looks good. Like it's definitely, if this was released at the same time as Loki, WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I would have for sure still kept this at the bottom. But yeah, it looks better than what I thought it was going to be. So like I can't hate on it, but I do enjoy seeing Tactix's response because you're still waiting, and I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah, exactly. Will he get redemption? We don't know, but the trailer clearly didn't reveal any of that. So I'm disappointed.
Oh wait, hold on, we got a comment. So Ron R says, I kind of get a lighthearted feel for it. Am kind of excited that they are expanding his character more.
Yes, I will agree with that. Like he deserves to have his, because he had like the character has such potential to be a badass. He doesn't necessarily need superpowers, nor does he even need his arrows. I want to see him like display accuracy with like not just arrows, but like other weapons too. Like that would be cool to see. And he has so much potential for us to like see the more highlighted moments from him in terms of his fighting ability. Like, you know, he goes on par with Black Widow, so we should see some like top level shit like that, like what we saw in the Black Widow movie. But again, they didn't show us any of that in the trailer. It's just I feel like it's legit just a Christmas movie or a Christmas TV series, and I'm like, I have enough Christmas shows to watch on my own. Like I don't need to watch another one from a Marvel property.
Well, we haven't had a Christmas. Yeah, the only Christmas movie we have is Iron Man 3.
One. I don't need that.
Okay.
I don't need it. Sorry.
All right. Moving on. So our next topic is going to be, well, this is several weeks out because we just had so many things to talk about that like it's only taken us until about now to talk about it. But the Geeky Bros, for our first well, not that the pandemic is over, but our first movie going theater experience to watch film together since COVID started was to watch the movie Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. And I gotta say, it's been a long time since I've cried laughing in the movie theater. And this movie definitely, like this movie was, I won't give it a straight 8 out of 10 for me. Like I did not anticipate liking it as much as I did. I did not anticipating like literally like some of the shit that was happening. I was like, there's just some spoiler warnings. We're gonna say some shit. So like you've had enough time to watch this movie. So if you're not gonna watch it now, you know it's not our fault. But I say Channing Tatum. Channing Tatum just made me cry from laughter. But
Channing Tatum's the shit. He like whenever he shows up unexpectedly, it's always amazing.
Yeah. So it was a surprisingly well told story. remarkably more poignant than I thought it would be. And it was and the action was great. The humor was on point, and the actors all like they looked like they're having fun, and also just like it was well written. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed the movie. Darcy, how about you? What did you think?
I loved it. Nice 10. As somebody who like, I'm not a hardcore gamer, but I do game. Like, I got a nice gaming rig over here beside me, and there was a lot of really good references that, like, it. Unlike though I never watched the film Pixel, the Adam Sandler video game movie. It's like just from the trailer alone, I'm like, you have no idea about video games. It's like you literally looked over your kid's shoulder and was like, what stuff is cool, and then just try to throw it into a film. Make no sense. This actually had like logic that made fundamental sense. There were places that were like a little bit off here and there, but like, you know, for movie writing purposes, but it was like a lot of this stuff actually worked. So like for me, like it didn't take me out of the film
Yeah.
because I was like, man, like no, that's not how that shit works. So like it doesn't make, you're just making a stupid joke that's like appropriating a concept and doesn't understand it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and they did a good job of getting some. I gotta go right into it. I'm some big spoilers here, but I was blown away that they were able to pull Chris Evans, make Marvel references and Star Wars. Now, somebody actually spoiled the Chris Evans thing for me just before I went into the movie. Like I saw it pop up on social media. I was pissed.
Ooh.
It was just like a random Instagram or TikTok or something like that. Like I just saw like his face and that he was in it, like him singing in the cafe. But and I saw the shield. Those are two things I saw. So I knew that was coming. So I didn't say nothing about that because obviously I wasn't going to spoil that for the homies. But I didn't know anything about the Star Wars. So I was like, oh, okay. They went all the way with this. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I love it. 8 out of 10 too.
Yeah, that's what happens when they merge with Disney. They get to use all their shit.
I actually watched the director talking about that. They're like, they didn't think it was going to be possible, but they're like, might as well try. and they're like, yeah, you can do what you want. And they're just like, wait, what? So throw it in.
How about you, T?
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'll give it a 7.8 out of 10. It was great to be back in the movie theater again, especially with the homies. Like we haven't done a movie outing like that in a long time. So like just that experience alone, I think really helped to enhance the movie going experience even more. What can I say about the movie that hasn't already been said? It was great. It was fun, super entertaining. I can't remember, again, like you, Umar, I can't remember the last time I laughed to the point of tears. And of course it was during Channing Tatum's cameo. I was in stitches, man. Like I was laughing progressively like throughout the movie. But when it got to that point, and for anyone watching this right now, hopefully you've seen the movie. If not, I'm not going to spoil the moment, but when you see Channing Tatum for the second time, oh man, don't drink anything because you might choke from laughter, right? Or don't eat anything, right? Because I was in stitches during that part. It was so hilarious. Probably one of the highlights of the movie. But overall, it was a great storyline. I enjoyed it. It was very entertaining. It didn't feel cliche. It was new and innovative. I was caught off guard a couple of times, and there was a lot of like really cool Easter eggs. I'm not a big gamer, so some of the Easter eggs went over my head and like some of the cameos, but in terms of like the Marvel reference, like that was great. I also got a little spoiled. I was spoiled by the Chris Evans thing a little bit, so it didn't hit me as much. I didn't know in what capacity he was going to show up, but I knew that like he was going to make an appearance, and I still enjoyed that moment. It was still a great moment to experience. So yeah, I love the movie. I think I highly recommend it to anyone who's looking for a fun, entertaining, lighthearted movie with good laughs. Definitely check this one out. It was very surprising. Like, yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I did not anticipate liking it nearly as much as I did. And honestly, a lot of the tropes that I had called didn't exactly play out the way I thought it would. and that I enjoyed that. It was refreshing to have that happen.
Yeah.
Totally. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just also going to say that like another shout out is to like from Free Guy, the actor who plays his best friend, the security guard. Yeah, he killed it for me. I just like every time he took off his belt and just like put his hand up and like laid down, I just was.
Oh man! Or the bro. The bro was hilarious.
Yep. By the way, also shout out to the supporting actress there because that was her first movie, like ever.
What?
So, yeah, that was her first movie ever. They said. There was they were saying it was like her first movie. She done other acting, but it was like her first movie.
Oh damn! Good for her.
Okay. Yeah, she probably was like TV
like
series, probably, right?
Yeah.
She's only done TV series.
Okay, yeah.
She's from Welsh, and so like they're also praising how many accents she did in this movie, like just like and how because like she had like a very specific, hard to do accent from the United Kingdom.
Well, like from like Jodie Comer, the actress, she is from Killing Eve with Sandra Oh, and she apparently is like I've seen the first season. Like she's a great actress. Like I'm happy that her movie career started off with a bang. So yeah, like 100% credit to her, a solid. Also, Mac Rame says getting to watch more of this podcast is worth the spoilers. Sorry, but thank you. Okay.
Well, we didn't really spoil anything. I mean, it doesn't ruin any part of the storyline, but like just know, like Channing Tatum is in the movie. He's in the opening credits, like the opening scene, so you'll know that he'll make an appearance again. So just look out for that moment.
Yeah. And I mean,
but we did kind of spoil the Steve Rogers thing though. So
that was a big one. Yeah, it was a big one. The I mean, the overall story too is like it's fairly straightforward, but it's just a good film. And I also just on the Channing Tatum thing. So there's a show I've referenced here before. I watch on YouTube. It's like VFX artist reacts, and they do like stunt people react. They bring people in to react to like stuff about movies, and you learn. So this YouTube series, one of their biggest fans was Seth Rogen, so he asked to come on to their show, and so they brought him onto the show, obviously like all glee about it, and so he came onto the show, and Seth Rogen did like a reacting to a bunch of Seth Rogen's like films and stuff like that, and giving insight and stuff. And have you guys ever watched the movie End of the World by Seth Rogen?
No.
Yeah.
So Tax, you know how ridiculous that movie is.
Yeah.
It's basically like a bunch of guys like getting together to smoke weed, and then the world comes to an apocalypse. And
this is the end. You mean?
Oh yeah, this is the end. Sorry, yeah. I always forget the name of the movie, but
yes,
like
I have seen that movie.
Insane it is. So there's a scene where Channing Tatum. So like all the actors are playing themselves, and so Channing Tatum is like. He's like locked up in like a dominatrix dog outfit, and he's acting like a dog. So apparently Seth Rogen literally emailed him like 3 weeks before that scene, and he basically said like he only has like 30 seconds of his face shown, so they could have used a stunt guy, and Channing Tatum was like absolutely not, and he did all of it. He's like, no stunt people, I'm doing all of it. and he was there for 2 full days filming like that. And I love the guy because like I mean this probably comes from his years of being a stripper back in the day. Like he just doesn't care. Like he's put himself out there. He does not care.
Yeah.
And it makes for some amazing stuff that nobody else is willing to do, because who's willing to get in a dominatrix dog outfit, put an apple in her mouth, and actually act like somebody's B word?
I don't think he even had any lines in that movie.
No, he didn't.
I think he had barked. I think that's what his lines were. Like it's just like it's like go like you just watch that scene on YouTube and appreciate how much that man is like, no stunt people, I'm doing it all. Like it's just fantastic. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say about him.
Oh, that's awesome. Look, yeah. So like nonetheless, we are big fans of Channing Tatum. But that's awesome. Okay, so moving on. Our next topic is we are going to review the What If episode 6 that came out on Wednesday. Now, we're gonna have to spoil on this one 100%. So like, if you haven't seen it, skip the next timestamp, or like, stop watching for like a few minutes. Anyway, or do what Mac Raim does and just like endure the pain.
Yeah.
And so episode 6 came out, and I gotta say, unlike last week, this episode was on fucking point. I was just like, damn. So yeah, I'll toss it back to actually, let's start with you, T. What did you think of this episode?
I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. Much better than the previous episode, but as you guys know, I love the previous episode as well. This one was interesting because we got to kind of see what Killmonger's initial plan, like a modified version of what his whole plan was from the original Black Panther movie come to fruition. And the way he kind of structured his plan and infiltrated everything, and like it was on some boss level shit. And the way, and like, I love the scene where he takes down the mech suit or whatever, and then kills Tony. Spoilers, sorry. But yeah, it was very interesting. It was a very interesting angle. Like these episodes like these are kind of starting to sell me on this whole what if concept, because like originally I was kind of like, okay, first episode was cool, second episode great, third episode I'm kind of like, all right, well, it's kind of losing me now. Like I'm not really caring as much about this, and I reluctantly went in with some apprehension about this one. I was like, do I really care about this what if series anymore? Like, how many more of these are there, to be honest? Like,
I think it's
how many more?
10 episodes for this season.
10 episodes in total. Okay, so yeah, I reluctantly went in and then had a really good time with it. I loved the portrayal of Killmonger and how he orchestrated his whole plan, and yeah, it was interesting. It again, it left me wanting more at the end. I was like, okay, I want to see where this goes. Like, what's gonna happen now? I also loved his conversation with T'Challa when he goes off into the spiritual realm, and they have that brief dialogue. Oh man, that was such poetic.
And we got Chadwick back again.
Yo, he's in quite a few of these, man. Like,
good. I'm so freaking happy.
Yeah, I was so happy to see that. Like, I thought, like, when we first saw Black Panther, like I kind of turned away, so I wasn't paying close attention, and I thought Killmonger had gotten the suit, and it was him as Black Panther, and then it turned out to be T'Challa. So I was happy to see him show up again. Man, like, kudos to him, and like him just kind of giving it his all during his last moments. Yeah, just during his last moments, like it really shows, and it really displays the passion that he had for the character, and like the value that, or he understood the value that his portraying Black Panther actually conveyed, right? So I really enjoyed seeing him again, and yeah, I dug the episode overall, man. It was really entertaining.
Darce?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I was blown away again by seeing more Chadwick Boseman. It's funny because when the second episode came out, right, and it was all about his character, and then I just remember Umar saying, like, like that's the our last time seeing him as T'Challa. I'm like, man, we couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm glad. Like, I also loved how it's really portraying like Wakanda's shown up a lot in this What If series, and it looks like they're showing how Wakanda is going to be. They're dropping a seed that's going to be really important going forward. I mean, I thought Wakanda was going to be more important in Infinity War and Endgame in general once it got introduced, but it feels like they're building Wakanda to be very important post Endgame, and it was also really cool to see Shuri end up like her at the end, and how smart she is, like, and how much younger everybody was, but how like Shuri's just like so keen, and so like she's like, I don't trust him, and it's like, Dad, don't do this, and then like the second they do it, and like they go with Killmonger's plan, and she's like, I was wrong, but she's lying. Like she was just like in the like I'm gonna work this and figure out the angle. So it was good. It wasn't my top episode, but it was good, and it's the kind of episodes I want more of, which is actually exploring how different things would be. The only thing I kind of wanted to be a little different is I didn't love how conveniently it started. I kind of felt like I don't know, like he just showed up, and I was like, I just wanted something else to kind of show a stronger reason why those two ended up meeting each other. I get that he had a plan, but just from the audience perspective, it was just kind of like, and he's here, and I'm like, I want more. I want something to logically put these two things together, or show something. So, but yeah, other than that, it was really good. It's in my top 3. So,
for me, I would say that like there are a lot of moments in this episode that I was just like, oh, which I can't say that like the series has done on a whole a lot, like except for a couple of things here and there. But like for example, I found a very powerful and layered interaction, even though it was very brief, was when Killmonger kills Tony, and Tony's literally trying to tell him that, hey, we're the same, and almost like saying like, you know, I don't see color. And then Killmonger says like the difference between you and me is the fact that you can't see the difference between you and me.
Such a great line.
And I was like,
so fucking good.
I was just like, whoa, I was like, thank you for writing stuff like that. Like you can write, like Marvel, write more of this.
And that captured Tony's arrogance like to a T, man. Because that's definitely something that he would say.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you know what? That line was as on point as the one that Chadwick Boseman helped save in the original in the Black Panther film, where it was like, you know, bear me, put me out to sea with like my ancestors, because they knew that death was better than enslavement, right? Or however it was actually phrased. And so that was a line that was on point with that. Like every time Killmonger comes on, he's going to make a point about racism.
Michael B. Jordan kills it. Like each time he kills it.
Yeah.
And like I love the fact that they're showing that like the foil to this like warrior that like is unstoppable is a little girl who, as a little girl, is shown to be as smart as Tony Stark and grows up to be smarter. And Pepper Potts, who was like his right hand, who he continued to overlook. And I loved seeing Wakanda like just like decimate stuff. And I love seeing the rhinos and like hearing them say Wakanda forever and saying Umbumbe, like their war cry, just like from we heard from Infinity War and from Endgame. Angela Bassett killed it as the general, and that's awesome because that kind of goes along with like what the Dora Milaje are like in the comics, where not only are they supposed to protect the king, but also they're kind of the only prospective brides he has, which is interesting. Like the only wife a king can have is one who is capable of leading his army. Anyway, so like I found that to be, I just really like this episode. Like yes, it left me wanting more, but it was still enough of like there was enough depth there that it was a full story, and I'm just really happy with it. And it was also kind of like I was feeling anxious during watching the episode because the bad guy was winning and he was unstoppable. And also now that I see it, he kind of looks like Vegeta over there with his
because of the blue to his armor,
the straps with the armor. But which goes back to him saying like he was big into anime. And
actually, you know what though? That like, if you think about it, his character is a lot like Vegeta. He's a fallen, kind of like forgotten prince on a war path. And if you think of Black Panther, the difference is like he basically goes up against Goku. But in this case, Goku ends up winning, in the actual like MCU storyline. So, like, I honestly feel like his outfit always kind of had that symbolism. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, if Ryan Coogler actually pulled a little Vegeta into his character.
Yeah, but yeah, so like I really enjoyed this episode, and if we get more of this, like, by the way, What If is only supposed to be 9 episodes. I was mistaken, not 10. But if we get like more of this for the next 3 episodes, I will be very happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like no, this was a huge step up for me from like last week's episode. I really love this episode. So we're going to quickly go to our last topic now. So moving on, we are going to discuss the early reviews of Venom: Let There Be Carnage. So apparently, this movie was directed by Andy Serkis, who was Gollum from Lord of the Rings, and he's playing Alfred in the Batman movie that's about to come out, and he was Caesar from all three, Rise of Planet of the Apes trilogy. Fantastic actor. Apparently, he is also a pretty good director because he apparently saved this really damaged, dying franchise. And apparently, I don't know what it is. We're not going to spoil it here, even if we did know. But there's an after credit scene that apparently is the talk of the town, and I am literally dodging every YouTube and like link that I see about it. But yeah, so Darcy, what are your thoughts on the fact that Venom 2 apparently is supposed to be a decent film?
So in general, early reactions, I've learned the lesson to like don't put any faith in them, right?
Interesting.
Because early reactions are always really good. I always feel like the early reactions are like, let's get a bunch of people together who are probably gonna like this film, and then put them in a room and then get them to react. But Andy Serkis makes me interested. So I was like looking up like what else did Andy Serkis do? He did the Mowgli film, Mowgli Legend, the Netflix one, which overall if I remember correctly, I enjoyed that one. It was like the more serious one. But and he's obviously really good at understanding motion capture and acting through that, because he's a legend at that. So that intrigues me, and the stuff I've read about the early reactions has said really good things about the actors and whatnot. And I'm probably gonna watch it because I almost feel like I want to give Andy Serkis a chance, more than anything. But I'm gonna wait till much closer, and if the reviews are like, yo, this is like an 8 out of 10 smash, I'm going to theaters. If everyone's like, yeah, it's a good film, whatever, 6 out of 10, I'm gonna wait for that shit to hit the torrents, okay? like unless my girl's like, I really want to go see a movie, let's go see Venom, then I'll be like, cool. But it's like I'm not going to force myself into that theater. That picture is fucking cool, though. I can't lie.
I agree.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just worried this film is going to be like a lot of really good action scenes, and then like lacking in every other place it lacked before, or slightly cleaned up. Like it's gonna be RoboCop level. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm worried about.
How about you, T?
Well, in my experience, my personal opinion, I feel as though when a studio is confident enough in their movie property to actually allow there to be a early release, it's usually a good sign. It's usually that they have faith in their property or their what they're making, and they want to get the buzz around it relatively quickly. If you don't believe, if you're on the chopping block, or you're on the editing suite, and you're putting together your movie, it's finalized, it's ready to go out into production, and you realize, man, this movie is fucking trash. There's no way you're not letting anyone see that movie until the release date, because you don't want any bad press covering that movie, because then no one's gonna watch it. You're not gonna make any money, right?
Yeah.
So you want to maintain that mystique, and then get the money, and then just cut your losses afterwards, right? So the fact that they've screened this early is a really good sign, because they also did the same thing with Batman. And look at all the buzz it's getting right now. People are like, oh, it's a horror movie. It's building up anticipation, right? So that's working in its favor. The fact that it's a short movie, so it's actually, the runtime apparently is 90 minutes. So some people are like, yeah, exactly. Some people had that response, or like that seems like a short movie. But it's like, okay, when you're looking at the property that we're about to watch, Venom and how long of a movie do you want it to be? Do we really need a 3-hour movie of these motherfuckers like fighting? Like, not really, right? So 90 minutes isn't a really big issue for me, like, and it doesn't mean that it makes it any good, right? So that has my interest. And to Darcy's point, the fact that Andy Serkis is involved in this is also something that's piquing my interest and getting me a little bit more amped for it. As for the end credit reveal, I still don't know what it is, but come on, man, we know what's coming, yo.
Yo, okay, so I'm glad you brought yes.
We know what's coming because well, hold on, hear me out. So the Sony Marvel deal is coming to an end soon, and unless they renew the contract, they're not getting the Marvel's not getting Spider-Man back, and which means that Spider-Man goes back to Sony. And the fact that they're already coming out with all these like solo villain movies, I feel like they've already established a deal. They know that they're taking Spider-Man back, and this is why they're going ahead with more Mobius and Kraven the Hunter and whatever else is coming out. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I think we might see, maybe not Tom Holland, but we might see some kind of a hint that basically is a reveal that Spider-Man is coming and that the Sony Marvel deal is finally over. Finally, because I think it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be Tom Holland. My buddy Jimmy said this, and I agree with him. I think it's going to be Andrew Garfield.
I was just thinking that, like, because Andrew Garfield has been denying heavy, which also can mean that.
No.
Watch Andrew Garfield comes out of the multiverse and he ends up against Venom, and it's like, because his Spider-Man makes sense in the Venom universe. It looks like the same universe.
Yo, and they did it. Sony did him dirty, yo.
They did him dirty.
He needs redemption right now. And this he's been lying like a motherfucker all over town about whether or not he's in No Way Home. So
maybe he's not. Maybe he's not.
I would straight up
because we're not asking the right questions. Are you Spider-Man or are you in No Way Home? We're asking, are you in No Way Home? And he's like, nah, I'm not in that. I'm sorry, yo.
Yeah. Have you put on the suit again other than to surprise your girl?
That's what we need to be asking that motherfucker, yo. That's what we need to ask him.
Yeah. That would be sick, because the whole time, the way they filmed the first Venom movie, like regardless of the quality of it, the actual cinematic style is the Andrew Garfield universe.
No, I agree with you. No, yeah.
And I loved the way all of those films were shot, right? Like, I actually loved the second film. Half of it.
It had really good moments.
It had really good moments.
If you took out pretty much all the villains besides you left an Electro, and you just focused on their relationship and brought that father scene back in and just had Electrode, that actually would have been a killer fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like it would have been a killer fucking movie. Because like that relationship is one of they were actually in love at the time, so it made sense. But like that was one of the best on-screen relationships, most authentic relationships. It was so good, and the film was just like, oh, I'm still passionate about that. I'm still passionate about that movie.
I still can't rewatch that scene.
Oh,
I just can't do that to myself, because like I start crying each time, because like and like I remember like after the first time I watched it, I was devastated for at least 2 days.
Devastated,
bro.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yo, but did you see the deleted scene after that?
Yes.
Where
yes,
you saw it, right?
Oh yeah, my but like, I'm gonna say, like, as good as that was, and don't get me wrong, I'm not downplaying how good that scene was. It didn't break me.
But Andrew Garfield's acting is phenomenal, man. Like you gotta put respect on that man's name, because that's
why I want him back. I want him back.
Yeah, bro. So one, that scene with the father was amazing. It would have been way more impactful if it was edited into the film after the right moment, right? But I'm going to say this again. When his girls died, I went on 2 weeks of mourning that scene, listening to Zulu's song off the soundtrack on replay, because the way that relationship was and the way it hit me, it made me feel like that about my own woman. That scene was so strong. So I love, like, it made me feel something about like losing my own woman. That's how hard that scene hit me. Like the whole film. Yeah, man, she saw me more and all that kind of stuff. But no, I don't know. No, I don't know if I did. I don't know. I don't remember. But it was years ago. But
we'll send her this snippet so she knows.
Yeah, exactly. But like it hit me so hard. Like, and I'm like, and that's why like I love the film. But whenever I love the film, it's like I'm only thinking about the romantic side of the film because it was so good. And then there was bullshit that also happened.
But there is a lot of the emotional moments, not just with him and Emma Stone, but like when he had that scene, and I think you made reference to this a long time ago, Umar. His scene with his aunt when she was like, "What?
You're my boy."
I forget what you're my boy," and he was like, "No, this is not what that's about. Like, that's not it at all." And like I was like, "Damn, bro, fight back the tears. It's strong."
That's what that movie made. It made no sense to me. Like there's half of it that it was like just Oscar level, and then the other part you're just like, what happened?
Yeah. It was literally like they shot this amazing film, and the studio was like, you know what would make this film better if we can get our merchandise sold. So let's squeeze this shit in here so we can start selling some toys. And we're like, no.
The tone was like The Dark Knight mixed with like Batman Forever. It didn't know where it wanted to be. You know what I mean? Like,
true.
Am I wrong though?
No,
like
so true.
Electro is the Riddler, essentially.
True.
Like that, it's the same origin.
True.
It's the same outcome. He starts off as this corny, weird dressed looking motherfucker, and then something happens and he starts being all like, super powerful, or turns into a villain and teams up with another villain. Same formula, man.
And this movie has some of the best acting, the best romance, the best like visual effects ever. Every scene where he fought Electro, or the scene with the girl where Gwen dies, is amazing. Like visually, like just
incredible.
The CG, like the Times Square scene. To this day, it is one of the best Spider-Man scenes. Like him, one of his web shooters is broken, so he like slings does the slinging, does the just the saving an instant. Really, like even this Marvel like version of Spider-Man has not shown that level of how good Spider-Man actually can be. Like how intelligent in split-second thinking he can be. No. Yeah. So please, Andrew Garfield, come back and face Venom, please.
So just to finish off, I'm going to just end off on exactly what Tactix says. Andrew Garfield needs redemption, and if you're redeeming Venom with Venom 2 with Andy Serkis, y'all bring in Andrew Garfield, because just redeem all of it. Let's do it, people. Let's make this happen. So I'm gonna volley back to Tactix. But
holy smoke, your room got hella dark, bro.
It got dark outside.
Turn some lights on in that bitch, bro. What the fuck?
The light switch is over there.
I like cut the camera to you and you just disappeared, bro. All I see is teeth.
Oh man.
All right, well, I guess that's the show, yo. It's just me and Darcy apparently, because Umar fucking disappeared, yo. I'm your boy Tactix.
Yo, it's just Darcy, and we out.
This is Big Geek Umar, and I'm still here. And please like and subscribe, and please follow us. Take care, and have a good night.